So we will start with Mr. Chaldeakis, who is the area sales manager for Greece and Cyprus for ONEOCEAN.
Thank you. So good afternoon. I hope that you're all well and safe. We are living in a new normal right now. So we'll try to do our best to cope with the situations we have. Let me try and share my presentation. Is this getting to you clearly?
Yes.
Good. So thank you all for attending this event. Unfortunately, we didn't have the chance to visit our lovely Limassol due to known issues, but we'll do our best to exchange our ideas and opinions from this through this media. This is part of the digitization and how it changes our life. So today I will try to present how we reached here, what are the effects that we've seen so far, and what we can expect in the future. I will only dedicate a very small time on what we are doing as ONEOCEAN, or ex-Chartco, for most of you who know the story behind the brand. So without any further delay, let me start. Okay, I made it. So we need to understand a few words of where we stand right now, and since 2008, we've been driven into a crisis situation that created a new normal that is now even more affected by the new COVID, the new pandemic. And that created a global freight slowdown. We all know that. The commodity prices are dropping, pressing the freight levels. The regulatory pressures are ever increasing, as we all know, at all aspects of your environmental compliance and things like that. And last but not least, that created overcapacity, which for the first time, I guess, in history introduced at that level the sense of competition, which was not so evident during the previous historical terms of the shipping industry. Now, we have to understand that how we reached here. So it's a small recap. The maritime business is evolving, and it follows a cyclical pattern until its conception as the biggest commodities moving means all over the world. Since the 17th century, the industry passed three painful changes, painful for the operators, that were all based on technological evolutions. The merchant trading back in the 14th century started with the invention and the highly deployment of compasses, accurate compasses, and that was the dawn of the merchant trading. After that, steam introduced, the liners, and at the around early and mid 20th century, we have the rise of the bulk shipping. Now, until that time, each and every change was painful for the previous operators. When steam replaced sails, a lot of companies went obsolete. When liners replaced diesel engines, replaced steam, a lot of the steam engine ships and their companies were obsolete or destroyed, eliminated from the market. So until that point, we have to understand that the shipping business was coupled with trading. The operators was also the traders. But after the introduction of the diesel engine, this was decoupled. So trade was decoupled from ship owning, and most of the companies actually outsourced this service, and thus it was the big rise of the shipping industry as we know it today. Now today we're facing a new milestone, which is this is also technological, and we could name it smart shipping. It's a digitalization that leads us there. But if we see it clearly, and aside of any technology, new technology, we can say that smart shipping is not the way we design or retrofit the vessels, the way we develop the new systems, but it is the way we use this technology to operate. And that should be the focus of what we're doing and to what the evolutions we expect will show. Now, the challenge of the shipping industry, as any other industry, is sustainability. And for the shipping companies to be able to improve, the main thing is to be able to improve retain and improve their market share. And the only way to do that is achieving operational efficiency. On the other hand, we have a maritime technology that is actually running out of solutions as we see it right now. It is so much squeezed that any new improvement is effect on cost cutting or any other stuff is marginal. And that's why we see companies trying to reinvent things like putting wind sails on a VLCC or a VOCC bulk carrier vessel and stuff like that actually do not contribute much. But the way forward is only one thing, is the identification of what is today, not only for the shipping industry, but for everybody, the most valuable commodity, and that is information. So for us that we're working in the IT industry, trying to serve our stakeholders and our customers, the most important thing is to understand that what we are selling at the end of the day and what we're providing is not cybersecurity or whatever else, on the navigation or whatever. What we provide, we should be able to provide, except from the basic platform of the technology, is information, because only information is able to transform the way that we're doing business today and for the future. Now, if we can let's say describe the pillars as we see it of the elements, the basic elements of a vessel's operation, at least how we see it from our side as ONEOCEAN, because we could add a lot of things, a lot more things there. But on the basic elements of automation and information that we're providing, we see four basic pillars. The one is the safety of the vessel. It's very important, we all know that. The other one is the compliance with the rules, the reporting and the metrics we're getting out of the vessel, and of course, how we support decisions that have to do with operations of the actual operation of the vessel. Now, just to run you through what we are doing as ONEOCEAN Group right now and where we stand, we have a toolbox, as we call it, our platform, that replies to all these pillars or these elements of information and of data. So the same way we're operating for safety, we have our traditional platforms. We have new technologies for backup systems, for document management, for environmental compliance, for regulatory compliance. We have the brand new module that's coming out next month, which is our one of the most complete platforms for e-logbooks, already approved for several flags. And we have, of course, all these are concentrated in one portal for each company. We call it the Fleet Manager, and it is actually where all this information are gathered and integrated for the use of the company. Now, if we ask ourselves how we see the future in a few years, I would say that I'm writing that it would be a bold prediction, but it's not that bold. The automation it's natural. It comes as an evolution of any productive process, and it's also self-proven to be to return the investment at any productive process. It's proven for many years, from industry to any part of life up to now. And we have to see it also coming through shipping. We're already seeing it. But what at least I personally see as an issue right now, as an obstacle to this natural evolution, is the physical resistance this industry has when it comes to change. And if we would discuss today what is the thing that is really missing from our industry today, I would say that it is, from my opinion, it is a proper change management. The technologies are all out there. I think we've heard today, and we will hear more companies and people that are really thriving providing all this information. But the problem lies how this information affects the daily procedures of each company. And I don't know if this sounds a little bit simple, but my experience working the last 25 years with companies over technology says it is not, especially for a shipping company. Now, the natural evolution that, as we see it, is that during the next years, there will be more and more decisions, but also operational actions that will be transferred from the vessel to the office. I don't know when we reach the point to have an unmanned vessel, but I guess, sorry, I guess that will take a couple of decades or three more. But we see today that more and more companies, they started already investing into in operational centers. I just give you the example of Film Group in Singapore, which announced, it was actually one of the very first companies that they announced a 24/7 operational center in Singapore for their fleet. Now, this will have a direct effect after some time also to the crew on board. And as I see it from my side, and I think many people may agree or not, gradually we will not go from the 25 people that we have today to one-man ships, but gradually the crew will be less and less. From the 20 to 25 people we have today, we will reach 12 to 15 people in a very short time from today. And this will also pull all the regulatory bodies to provide new regulations for that. But this is what actually the future looks like. More and more decisions and information will reach shore, and this balance, this ratio of people that are working ashore and on board will change dramatically over the next years. Now, I don't want to take much more of your time, but we have to understand this. Change is not inevitable. It's not something that will happen or with a precision of a clock, of a Swiss clock. But it is certain that even if we like it or not, at some point, some people will step in and fill the gaps. And these people will usually they are the pioneers of each industry, and they bear the responsibility in a way to pull the whole industry with them. And I'd like to close with one of my favorite quotes from a guy that was really one of the big influencers of business, Peter Drucker, who says that the best way to predict the future is to create the future. And with that, I'd like to thank you all for for your patience and for your attendance. And I'm with you if you have any questions or anything you would like to discuss, actually, because this should be, if we were live, this should be an open discussion and an exchange of ideas and values and whatever. So now we have to cope with the status. So if you have anything, please ask. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chaldeakis. That was really informative. At least I found it quite interesting. Please send your questions through, and we'll try to take as many as we can while you have a chance to think about what you might want to ask. I'd like to ask Mr. Chaldeakis, what does it mean for us to capture the real value of information? How do you see this particular aspect progressing in the short term first, and what can we expect in the long term? You briefly touched upon it, but how do we make it a bit more?
Can you repeat the initial question, because the sound is breaking a bit. I cannot hear you very clearly.
I was asking, in practice, what does it mean for us to capture the real value of information? How can we make this a bit more tangible?
Yeah. That's the actual challenge for everybody in the industry that is offering technology. And there is only one way, I guess, to do that. Is the way to do that is to take ourselves outside the box a bit, which is technology, because we are all into technology, and take ourselves a bit outside the box and start working with the daily processes the shipping company has to do in both the office and the vessel. Because if we don't do that, then we're just providing more and more gadgets and info to without any actual cause. Now, what we're doing today, we have the automation, we have the digital product, and we're trying to find where we can push it. We have a general idea in our mind. We all know that we need remote performance monitoring. It's simple. Factories are doing this for the last 60 years, for God's sake. So it's not something new. But the problem is how this can affect the daily life of a technical, let's say, fleet manager inside the office. And what will be the impact of this to his, not only to his daily job, but to the operation aspects of the fleet. All right, and this is the very general idea, because shipping has a many niche segments where we can improve things. So the only way to find the value is to find first we have to identify the problem we want to solve to find the value. If we're going with the value as it is, we don't know where to address it. And usually we're all doing this mistake in the beginning. So my, let's say, perspective is that we need to get out of the box and start thinking of the actual processes. It's like building a software, an ERP or whatever. What you need to start from is the end, meaning what reports you want to produce and why. And then you have to go back and see how you will do it, and not the other way around, because now we're just trying to justify our products with some value. All right, and I have this feeling, and this is one thing that actually creates this delay we see many times in investing, in companies investing into that, because they are not persuaded that what we're trying to present to them has actual value for them. So I don't know if I've answered your question, a bit general, but.
Thank you. I think you have been covered. So unless we have any more questions, which at the moment I don't see something in, please feel free to send something later on from Mr. Chaldeakis. We'll try to address it.